Hi, my name is Brooke Young, and today I'm going to demonstrate for you how to make coconut milk. Many people nowadays have dairy allergies, so coconut milk is a wonderful alternative to regular milk. It's also a wonderful alternative to almond milk if you have an allergy to nuts. I got into making my own coconut milk when I found that my body couldn't digest the preservative carrageenan that's in a lot of coconut milks that are store-bought. And so I thought it would be a wonderful alternative to be able to make my own. Also, if you buy cans of coconut milk, they can contain the chemical BPA in the liner of the can. Plus, the newly refrigerated cartons are expensive and many have added sweeteners and preservatives. So a 1.75 liter carton of coconut milk in the store would be around $4.50 to $5.50. So it can be a lot cheaper to make your own. It can be used for a multitude of things. I use coconut milk in my smoothies. You add a bit of, like a cup of coconut milk, a banana, some other fruit, some yogurt, and it makes a wonderful smoothie. You can also use it on cereal as an alternative to milk. And it can be used in recipes like stir fries. If you're making a coconut curry or something, you can add your coconut milk to that. And some people just drink coconut milk on their own because they enjoy the flavor of it. Coconut milk has many health promoting benefits and is easily absorbed by the digestive system, so it's a great healthy alternative to use. This recipe is going to take about 10 minutes in total, so it's very easy. About 5 minutes of prep time and about 5 minutes of cooking time, so it's very simple. Before you start this recipe, you need to boil water. So you can either do that with a pot on your stove, or you can use a kettle, which I'm going to do, and I'm going to put my kettle on now so that because I don't want my water scalding hot. I just want my water hot but not boiling or scalding. So you can have the option of doing it in a pot on the stove, or you can have the option of doing it in a kettle. You will need, for your recipe, wet measuring cups for your water. You will need dry measuring cups for your coconut. You will need a blender of some sort. This is just a regular blender and this would work fine. I'm going to use my Vitamix because it's easy and simple and it grinds everything up really well. But a regular blender will work great. You need some sort of strainer, colander, and you will pour the coconut through here at the end so that if there's any shavings left over, you can get rid of them. If you don't have one of these, you can also use a cheesecloth, and you can put your cheesecloth, I'm going to pour the coconut into here, the milk. So you need some sort of container to pour it into, but you can put the cheesecloth over and you can pour it through that as well. So that's another alternative if you don't have a mesh colander to pour it through. So I've heated my water, and I'm going to start by adding the coconut to the Vitamix or blender, and you need 2 cups of coconut. So I'm going to put it into my dry measuring cups. It's important to make sure you use dry measuring cups for dry ingredients and wet measuring cups for wet ingredients. So there's my first cup of coconut, and I'm going to add it to my Vitamix. And my second cup. Coconut, and add it to the Vitamix. So you have your 2 cups of coconut in the Vitamix. Now, I'm going to put it on the stand, and I'm going to add 4 cups of hot water. So I'm adding my 4 cups into my wet measuring cup, which is really important. So make sure you get an accurate measurement. Now, if you don't have a blender that's big enough to do 4 cups, your alternative is to do 1 cup of shredded coconut and the 2 cups of water, and you could do that first, and then when you're done, you take the rest of you pour it into your container, and then you do your second batch. So if you don't have one that's big enough, then you can do it in 2 steps, which is fine too. So I'm going to add the water now to the Vitamix. And we're just going to blend on high for several minutes until it's thick and creamy. So I'm going to go to my setting that is high, and I'm going to start it. And I'm going to do that for 2 minutes. You can set a timer if you need to. And just see if it's thick and creamy enough. It's quite hot. So I think it's not quite. So I'm going to put it on maybe for another minute here, just to make sure that it does get thick and creamy, because that is important. Be good. So now what I'm going to do is take my mesh colander and I'm going to put it over top of this container here, and I'm going to pour my coconut milk through there, and that's just going to get rid of any of the little shavings of coconut that could have been left when it was mixing. So another thing to remember with this is that you can find shredded coconut at most health food stores, and this is the brand that I'm using. It's called Camino, and it's an unsweetened coconut, shredded coconut, but you can probably find it also at a lot of just regular grocery stores too, but it definitely is easily found at health food stores. So if you can't find it at the regular grocery store, then you can definitely find it at a health food store. So it's quite thick actually, which is really good, because the thicker the better. The thick coconut milk is nice for making stir fries. It's really great for curry stir fries. So we're going to keep pouring through here. When you're done making this coconut milk, if you want, some people like to add it to their coffee. So a nice alternative you can do if you wanted to flavor it would be to add 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder and a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And that would make it nice and a little bit sweet, and would make it nice for coffee in the morning if you wanted kind of a specialty coffee. Another thing you can do is you can add half a cup of fresh or frozen strawberries, and that also makes a nice flavored coconut milk. So you'll see on the top here that I have quite a bit of the shredded coconut. So that is going to be, after I'm done this, pouring it through, I'm actually going to squeeze this coconut through a towel. I don't have a cheesecloth. If you have a cheesecloth, you can use that. I don't. So I'm just going to pour it through a regular clean towel. And that will also serve the same purpose. There's quite a bit. It's quite thick. And this is probably the most time-consuming part of the whole recipe. As far as the blending and the ingredients, it's very minimal. So this is going to be your most time-consuming part. Now, the other thing is when you make your own coconut milk from scratch, just like anything that's made without preservatives, it won't last as long. So you're going to have probably less than a week, maybe a week's time refrigeration on it, and make sure it's kept refrigerated. And the other option is, that I like to do with it, I like to make a bunch up and freeze it. And then when you need it, you can take it out of the fridge and use it. And it's great because it lasts a lot longer. So that's another really great alternative. So I'm just pouring the rest in now. It's almost done. And a lot of times my kids really love coconut milk, so it's a great alternative for anybody that has a dairy allergy or sensitive digestion to milk. So then what you can do is take your towel, and I'm going to pour this into my towel, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze the rest of this and see if I can get any more out. See, so now I'm getting a lot more out. So, and this is just a regular dishcloth. And just squeeze the rest of that out of there. It's quite hot, so you may want to use gloves because the water was quite warm. And that's all I can get out of there. So some people, you could use the rest of this pulp if you wanted in muffins or something too, if you didn't want to waste it. So there is our homemade, delicious coconut milk, and that can be used for a variety of purposes. And yes, this is how to make homemade coconut milk. Thank you very much.